The alarm goes off. You slept 7, maybe 8 hours, and yet the first thing you feel is not energy. It is a heavy, leaden weight. Your body feels like you spent the whole night carrying stones. For a huge number of adults, this is just the normal state of being. Ask your friends, ask your coworkers. Almost everyone is, in their words, just always tired. So we blame the obvious things. Not enough sleep, too much work, getting older. But here's the strange part. For most people, more sleep does not actually fix it. You can catch up all weekend and still wake up Monday running on empty. Because the real problem is usually not your sleep at all. It is an energy crisis happening deep inside your cells. And once you see how it works, that permanent tiredness finally starts to make sense. But first, one important line we have to draw. There is a difference between the everyday tiredness we all complain about and a serious illness. That illness is called MECFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis, or chronic fatigue syndrome. For healthy people, a hard week is fixed by rest, a holiday, some exercise. For people with MECFS, it is completely different. Their batteries are not just empty. The charger itself is broken. Even a small effort, like a short phone call or a shower, can trigger a total crash, hours later that lasts for days. It is a real, serious neurological condition, often triggered by a virus. If that sounds like you, this video is not a diagnosis. Please talk to a doctor. What we are talking about here is the other thing. The everyday exhaustion, where you still function, but you feel like you are driving with the handbrake permanently on, and its causes are hidden in your biology. So let's look at the 3 big ones. Cause number 1, your power plants are wearing out. Every move you make, every thought you think, is paid for by tiny structures inside your cells called mitochondria. They produce ATP, the universal energy currency of your body. When you are young, these power plants run beautifully. But as the years pass, they take damage and something else happens. They start to run low on a crucial fuel called NAD. NAD is a molecule that helps shuttle energy through your cells, and studies suggest that by the time you are around 50, your NAD levels may be roughly half of what they were in your youth. Less NAD tends to mean less ATP, and less ATP means quite simply less energy available to you. Your cells quietly slip into a kind of low power mode, and you feel that as a constant, low-level drain. Because number 2 is not your biology. It is your lifestyle. It is cognitive overload. Your brain is only about 2% of your body weight, but it burns around 20% of your total energy. And modern life forces it to switch context constantly. You check a work email, answer a message from family, glance at the news, and get interrupted by a notification every few seconds. Each of those tiny switches burns fuel in the front of your brain. And as that fuel gets used up, a waste product builds up. It is called adenosine. Adenosine is your brain's sleepiness signal. The more you push your brain, the faster it piles up, whispering, "Time to sleep." So you can feel completely drained mentally without having moved at all. Which brings us to cause number 3. Chronic stress is quietly wrecking your sleep. When you are under constant pressure, your body keeps releasing the stress hormone cortisol. Cortisol was designed to save you from short, sharp danger. But today, with endless deadlines and constant availability, it can stay elevated late into the night. And here's the problem. Too much cortisol in the evening makes it hard for your brain to drop into real deep sleep. So even if you lie in bed for 8 hours and think you slept, if the deep stages are blocked, your brain cannot do its nightly cleaning. It cannot flush out the waste, including the very adenosine we just talked about. So you wake up the next morning already starting the day with a full trash can. Now put the 3 together. Aging power plants, an overloaded brain, and broken sleep. It is not that you are lazy or weak or simply need more coffee. Your exhaustion is a signal, a message from your own biology that something is out of balance. So what can you actually do about it? This is not medical advice, and everyone is different. So before changing your diet, fasting, or taking any supplement, talk to a doctor or a qualified expert. But research points to 3 broad directions. The first is to challenge your mitochondria. Studies suggest that gentle, low-intensity endurance exercise, and for some people, careful fasting windows, can push the body to build new mitochondria. Old, damaged power plants get cleared out, and fresher ones take their place. The second is to protect your energy at the cellular level. Diets rich in plants and lowering chronic inflammation may help keep that cellular energy pool more stable. One supplement now drawing real scientific interest is creatine. Yes, the same compound athletes use, because it helps recharge the fast energy buffer inside your cells, including in your brain. Some early studies suggest it may ease mental fatigue, especially when you are short on sleep. But this research is still young and mixed, so treat it as a conversation for you and your doctor, not a magic fix. And the third is to lower the load. Try ending the multitasking. Turn off the notifications and protect a few blocks of real, single-focus time. And when the afternoon slump hits, instead of another coffee, some people find that around 20 minutes of deep rest while awake, sometimes called non-sleep deep rest, leaves them clearer, without the caffeine crash. Because here is the reframe. Being an adult was never supposed to mean feeling exhausted every single day. For most of us, the tiredness is not who we are. It is not a character flaw, and it is not just the price of getting older. It is a message, written in the language of your cells. And the moment you stop only silencing that message with caffeine and start listening to what your body is actually asking for, the energy has a way of quietly coming back. Before you go, we put a lot of work into these videos, so if this one was worth your time, a quick like genuinely helps us out. And if you don't want to miss the next one, consider subscribing. We'd also love to hear what you think. Leave a comment with your thoughts or an idea for a future video. We try to read every single one. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.